Just because you hear the silence, that doesn't mean that I'm being quiet. I'm praying. My head, my heart, my chest, my stomach, my hands, my knees, my ankles, my feet. Those visibly steady. Many times they're uneasy in so many.
Good afternoon, Dr. Mack. It's so good to see you. Even though
Well,
we've been on here a few minutes with each other, it's still good to see you on live.
well, good afternoon, Pastor Puck. It is always good to even hear you.
Oh, thank you,
And
ma'am.
laughter just makes you feel better. But yeah, this is
Thank
why I got up this morning. Something good's gonna happen.
something
Something good.
good. Yes, yes. Dear God, as we sit before you to speak, we pray to you that our souls you will keep. And if we should die before we finish, we pray to you that any outstanding sins will be forgiven. And we pray for everyone under the sound of our voice that's watching us today, whenever it is, tonight, afternoon, midday, evening, whichever it is, we're praying for them and asking you to give them what they need. In the name of Jesus, we pray and give thanks to you. Amen. So,
Amen.
want to make sure that everybody, thank God, He's covering all of us anyway. We are covered. Oh, yes. So, we have quite uh, a, a number of topics today to discuss, and I am so excited about them. So, Dr. Mack, would you have words and start us out, please?
Well, I'd like to welcome all of you today to our Mother's Board. And just keep in mind, we have no political agenda. We are simply here to share our ideas about the topics that concern you. And we do invite you, if there is a topic, to let us know. I do love the new opening. The email addresses are right up front. So you can just drop us an email and we will add that topic to the ones. There's so much going on from hour to hour, really. Um, and it's not all contradictory. It's not going in a straight line. It's somewhat twisted, it's convoluted. And you just say to yourself, okay, Lord, I don't know what to believe, but give me guidance and give me wisdom. And we would just like to share some of that with you.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to start with a really hot topic here. And Pastor Polk, if you will do your number one topic, your number one question.
And that is about Jasmine Crockett.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and my question is, should she be censured? There's a censure and a censor, and I was going to pull those up for so we could tell the difference of it. But to be censured is kind of a light punishment, or
Yeah,
in
it's negative.
say it again.
It's negative.
Yes, they put a negative, like giving you a mark or whatever. And I heard what she said, it was a few words, and then I heard what she was referring to. She said, "Now, should she apologize? You know, Jasmine Crockett can take care of Jasmine Crockett." And so if she decides that she wants to, that's hers. This is my point of view.
Sure.
It's good. And if she decides that she doesn't want to apologize for it and she has given her explanation for what she said, I'm all for it too. Because, and I'm with other people, that it's all hypocrisy anyway by them calling her out, because we've seen all of this stuff that the other side has done, how the person that's sometimes sitting there in that chair in the Oval Office has mimicked people with disabilities, and he's always trying to attack someone's IQ. I bet if you asked him right now, what does IQ mean? He wouldn't even know. And so that woman got to where she is because of her IQ and because of her study and her resilience and her aim and her goal to be where she is. She's an attorney. Hey, people need to watch. What is that they say? People in glass houses shouldn't throw
Shouldn't.
stones.
That is
Uh,
correct.
yes, and so I heard what that guy said. He said, "Oh, she's a low IQ. She's a," and said something else. Now, if she should apologize, then he should apologize for all of the things that he's done, including the. Oh, I won't get into that. Okay, so Jasmine Crockett can take care of herself, and that's a question I wanted to uh, put out here before everyone, and they can let us know should she or should she not. And they're trying what they are good at. They want to push people into saying, I'm sorry. But there's a difference in saying, I'm sorry and I apologize also. But should she apologize? I'm just going to leave that right up to her because the lady is on it. She is very bright. She's very, very intelligent. And that's not just in mindset and thinking and all of that, psychological, but in curriculum, everything. The woman is on it. And so she can take care of herself. That's how I see it. And I think it's hypocritical for them to be calling for her to apologize when so many things are going on now that they don't even think that they should apologize for because they think they're the mighty right people. And even that woman up there that called herself talking about Representative Crockett's eyelashes.
Oh,
They
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
That woman, that's her.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't like to say their names. That's why I don't say their names. I don't want to give them any credit coming out of my mouth. I'll talk
That's
about it. I'll talk about what they did, and then they didn't say anything about censuring her. She was wrong,
true.
but
Yeah.
Jasmine took care of herself, and then she took care of herself. So anyway, if she decides that she wants to, which I think would be, I don't know. To me, I don't know, but that's what other people. That's why I put it out here because she can take care of herself.
Well, she is definitely an outspoken woman, definitely. And she
Yes.
was speaking at a human rights conference in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And she said the comment that she made regarding the Hot Wheels was not with reference to the wheelchair. Now, those persons who want to nitpick it, you can. But she is saying that it wasn't with reference to it. It was with reference to Project Lone Star. And she didn't say it out loud, but she is saying that's what the comment was with reference to. And for those of you who have forgotten, she's making reference to the airplanes and the buses and the trains and any other
Trains.
mode of transportation that
Yeah,
was used to move immigrants from the border to, and she said, and I went back and I read it, to cities with black mayors, to
exactly.
sanctuary cities with, she wasn't referencing the wheelchair, but people who have disabilities are sensitive, and there are so many of us who are sensitive towards them.
Right.
Now, notice he did not respond immediately. It was several days, at least a day, several hours before he made a response. And I'm not sure, but I have to think that in his heart he knew it wasn't directly to him, but he has staff who thought, "Oh, what a great political opportunity here."
Of
You know
course.
what I'm saying? You know, to because she is outspoken.
Of course. And
And
they know
she
she is.
is saying that what she meant to say, inferred she wanted to say, that what you did, but these people have just come all these miles through the jungle and through these other countries, which I really have a problem with. I never understood why they weren't stopped in other countries
Mm-hmm.
because they went through several to get here. Um,
Exactly.
you you know, come on, you were wrong. and you were just sending them, and a lot of them don't speak English, and they just had to get on a bus and go. And this may be the land of opportunity and the land of plenty, but I'm going to get back on my soapbox. Let's take care of those here, those who were born here, because there's still so much that needs to be done. Now, I agree with you that I'm sorry will never fall out of her mouth. I just don't think so. And she feels that she issued a statement of apology. She didn't use the word apologize, but she issued a statement with reference to it.
That's
And
right.
even though we're discussing it, it has been like a topic on so many of the talk shows.
Of
And
course.
I agree that if she feels the issue is closed, then it's closed.
Hey,
It just makes her more aware of the words that she will choose to use in the future. Um, I don't think she would belittle anyone. This is a black lady. I just don't think she would belittle because so much has been done ethnically inappropriate towards us, even during the campaign. I
and
always
even now,
Yes, I go back to all of the unkind things, unnecessary, ugly stuff that was said about Vice President Harris. I go back to Hillary Clinton. I went back to, in my mind, flashed back to Hillary Clinton. All
hmm
those ugly things that were said then.
hmm
Now, I just think that she didn't. She's not a comedian. She definitely isn't. And it was just an opening statement that really, I'm going to say, could have been easily misinterpreted because he doesn't seem to be really sensitive about the chair. He doesn't use it as a as an photo op kind of thing. But I think she said enough and move on and let's get some other things done. She is,
exactly.
she is his opponent and he is hers.
That's right. So, hey, thank you.
Move on. Move on.
Okay. So, and then coming to the next question, which is what's your reaction to the White House's defense of the U.S. attack of the was it Houthi?
Hootie.
Houthi?
Uh-huh.
Houthi? Okay, earlier this week that involved the inclusion of the editor of the Atlantic magazine,
Oh, come
Dr.
on.
Mack.
It
Uh,
is one of those situations where I just said, okay, because what was the response from the White House? He said that mistakes are made. Everyone makes a mistake. It's a sort of a learning situation. However, yesterday there were persons who work in the White House who said he's ready to fire him. But other people, Secretary Walsh, other people are saying he feels that would make media. He would be giving the media what they want. He's starting off firing people. Under other administration, he was firing people within, days. So um, I feel that too, and I'm a little upset. There was an article earlier too where the person who actually did the actual work was a woman, a young
mhm,
woman, who
mhm.
actually included the editor's name in the live chat, but
Okay.
uh, but it also just sort of you know, I agree. And he in the chair at the White House is responding quietly to it, as opposed to getting out there ranting and raving like would have happened. Because I'm looking at the the, the changes in his personality during this administration. There's someone or something that's being done to keep him from losing it. Although he did have a meltdown about some other things, but that one, and I think I don't know, Pastor. I have an issue with the fact that you have to give him the cabinet members that he wants in order to accomplish what he wants. Well, we're looking at some of the cabinet members that he chose. If they were large donors, if they were personal friends, if they were friends of somebody else who was a large donor, those people, that's like putting a, a round peg in a square hole. They
Uh,
don't really fit in this situation. and you have the ex-military people who say that just shouldn't have happened.
Of
And
course not.
don't say it wasn't classified because it was. You know, we're talking on on a stream that should not have been available.
Right.
Should not have been available. I'm sorry. Your comments.
Oh, that's okay. You don't have to apologize for anything. Uh, the first thing the guy said is, I don't know anything about it.
Oh, I hate that.
That's the first thing he said. He didn't know anything about it. So, hey, it should not have happened.
Mm.
But we don't know what else they've done up there because they say they're young children. What is it from? What is it? 19 to 24, 25, something like that. These are young people. I say children, but they were considered by numbers as grown 18. But anyway, they say they're very young people they have up there doing these things, like on the computers and the emails and all of that. And so, anyway, those mishaps do happen, and we don't know how many more have happened that didn't leak, that
Right.
didn't get out, because there are many things happening there that we don't know about because they're messing up left and right and top and bottom. They
Yeah.
are. So, I the it's just so many. I don't believe anything that comes out of their mouths because they're full of uh, mm, falsehood and full of themselves. So anyway,
I agree.
okay,
There
all
seems
right.
to be an agenda going on, so we just ought to have to watch, not hear what they say, but watch what they do.
Exactly, and I'm so glad that the man brought it out. But they even said that he was wise enough and knew not to put the classified information out there because what if it had been someone else that just wanted to just put it out there because
Right.
they got a hold of it? But he didn't do that.
He's a real journalist, and there's not a lot I can say that's positive about journalists all the time, but he is a professional, and the Atlantic is a very nice magazine.
Yes, yes. So I'm glad that they had him there. Who,
Yeah, do the big work.
yeah. So he called it out and told it. So hopefully I don't know what to say about them because they have so many. And what you were saying, all of these inexperienced people, they don't know anything about government. Well, they didn't before they got in there. Maybe they're giving them some classes, but I doubt it because they're just going by how much money they donated and their status in relationship to that guy there. So it's just a thing. But I'm you know what? I'm not discouraged. I'm not despondent about it because I know it's going to be handled. Oh yes, and we won't have to lift a finger. All we have to do is just continue to pray and let God handle it like He handles it. Okay, so all right. Number two, what is your understanding of the importance of the rare earth materials that seems to be be a continued obsession with the White House?
Mm, well,
The-
I didn't notice it too much, Pastor. Well, I did because one of the reasons we started the Space Academy, under this person who's in there now. But
Mhm.
one of the reasons we were fighting in Afghanistan, they had rare earth minerals and materials, and one of the reasons there's a problem with Ukraine right now is
Mhm.
that and I don't know what's happening here to mine. I don't know what's going on here,
I hear you well.
but I've lost the picture.
Okay,
Um,
you're still here as
one
far
of
as I.
the things that's going on with Ukraine is, that he wanted 50% of those rare earth minerals. And why
Mhm.
is that important? Because with the technology that exists now, we absolutely need we absolutely need those materials. So to make the computer chips and all of the things that we don't even know we need, but we know
Mm-hmm.
we need those that particular group of minerals. And I
Mm-hmm.
had pulled it up, and Brazil has some, China has some, Russia has some, India has some, but I didn't see where we had an abundance of anything, or if enough. That there was also a year or so ago where we lost our position with Africa, in Africa, in some of those countries there, because they too have those rare deposits of minerals that are going to be used. And Greenland, the country that he desires so much,
Mm-hmm.
has those. But what you want to take a country, or I don't know how to say it. You want to get involved in a country, but you want to take those particular things which they could use to move forward for for yourself. And I'm not sure, you know, you remember the story in David, with David and Bathsheba, where Nathan comes in and he tells the story about the man who had the one sheep. You
Mm-hmm.
without calling David's name, you know, and you have, just flocks of sheep, but you want to take the one thing that's
Mm-hmm.
precious to that man, or you took, I should be
Mm-hmm.
using the passage. You took the one thing that was precious to the
Mm-hmm.
man. I mean, that's just what's happening. I need this. I'm powerful enough. I will take it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to to consider your feelings at all. But
Mm-hmm.
they are rare, and they are going to be needed, and we're just on the verge of this. They're going to be needed for years and years to come. I mean, they have
Mm-hmm.
names that give me a headache just trying to pronounce them. But I
Mm-hmm.
do know that they're so valuable. They're more valuable than anything we
Mm-hmm.
have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yes, yes, ma'am. And so uh Greenland, do you well, there was a special that they did on Greenland, how Greenland is developing and
Mm-hmm.
how more people are moving to Greenland because it's so pure and clean and the population is growing. And so I'm sure that that was seen. And so anywhere, just like he was talking about taking over that other country and making a resort out of it,
Gaza.
yeah, he
Mm-hmm.
wants to do this too everywhere he sees. But you know where this idea is coming from. That other person that's standing up there with that little boy on top of his head, while the other was sitting down there at the desk saying nothing. And so, so a rare earth, the rare earth elements. I want to say this to some who might not know exactly. They're also called rare earth metals, as Dr. Mack was saying, or rare earths. And sometimes the lanthanoids, all those scandium and yttrium, which
Mm-hmm.
do not belong to this series, are usually included as rare earths. They are a set of 17 nearly
Yeah.
indistinguishable, lustrous,
Right.
silvery white, soft, heavy metals. Compounds containing rare earths have diverse applications in electrical and electronic components,
Right.
lasers, glass,
Yeah.
magnetic materials, and industrial processes. So,
That's right.
scandium and yttrium are considered rare earth elements because they tend to occur in the same ore deposits as the lanthanides and exhibit similar chemical properties but have different electrical and magnetic properties. So the term rare earth is a misnomer because they are
Yeah.
not actually scarce, although historically it took a long time to isolate these
Mhm.
elements. So they want to go and take over these countries and because I feel like they feel that they're easier to get to than over here. And so, uh, it's terrible how these people are doing things and they think that they're so how should I put this? Superior.
That's the only word I know.
Superior that they can just go and take. people's countries and rename rename areas, rename the Gulf, and all of this. This is pitiful, but it's something when someone just sits up and thinks about, well, they have that, I want that, so I'm going to make that mine. And then another thing, they try to tell us, they say that it's for the good of us, the population, but that's not true. The only ones that are benefiting financially from this are those people that he surrounded himself with up front.
Billionaires. Billionaires.
That's where it's going. What about all the oil and everything that they went and invaded that country and killed that man for after they had supported him so many years because they wanted that oil? Have we seen any relief from
No.
them taking charge of that oil? No relief whatsoever. It's going to be the same old thing all over. The rich want to get richer. But hey, go back to my video I did. Okay. I've seen what is it? The wicked in great power,
Right.
flourishing. Well, it doesn't say flourishing, spreading himself like a green bay tree. But then what happens? He'll soon pass away and won't be anywhere to be found. So if everybody just hold on, all this stuff that's going on is going to be taken care of. We don't have to say a lot of negative things. We know we have our opinions, we have our speech, and now they're trying to take the free speech away from people and spotting people out on the television, on the airwaves from the news and everything, and then targeting those people and putting them in jail and in prison. It's
Yes.
terrible. It's terrible. So anyway, but we still have a little bit of free speech, free speech left. Okay, Dr. Mack, what's next?
Oh no, I just you're hearing it on the news. So all we're doing here at the Mother's Board is to give you the beginning that will cause you to go further and research.
And
Um,
that's for yourself.
so
That's
when
right.
you next time you hear rare earth minerals or rare earth metals or rare earth elements, you know now that it is something that's going to be really really needed in the future.
Oh
When
yes.
we say, if we just said they're needed for computer chips, my gracious, everything operates on a chip now.
Yep.
So, but the one who controls it, that's the one who, well, that person who has that kind of money to subsidize it and will be put in a position of power. And
Hmm.
that's the other thing we're talking
It's
about.
already in the position of power, and that's the guy
Yes.
that they say that we, the taxpayers here in the United States, are paying that guy at least $8 million a day for
With all the
contracts
contracts,
that he
the
has.
contracts,
Yes,
yes.
a
It
day, per day. And
Yeah,
then
it's
he's
like
up
a
there.
conflict of interest, isn't it?
That's exactly what it is, but let them tell it it's not. Let them
It's
tell it is not. And then he's up there trying to get into our private information,
has
trying
already.
to take over our everything. He wants everything, and anybody with any common sense knows that that guy, if he had the capacity and all of the computers and everything that he needed to steal the election, which he did, that's why the other guy is so quiet when he's around, to steal the election. And then all of our information is going to be stored in his computer system. And when he does be put out of the position that he's in now, he's going to have all of our information at his disposal. Yes, he is.
Yeah, things are changing.
Yes,
They
ma'am.
are they are changing, as the song referenced several years ago. These things
Hmm.
they are changing,
Yes,
and it's
ma'am.
a matter of being very listen to what's being said, watch what's being done.
Exactly. because while there are things that are happening to distract us. They want to
Yes.
distract us from the thing that they're really doing. They really do. So anyway, hey, there. Oh my God. So what do you think, if anything, about the statement? If whatever is necessary, green, and we talked about that, will be seized by the United States, and I think
Oh,
it's.
by the way, Greenland also has a military value because there's a listening post between, we can hear what China and Russia and anyone else, South Korea,
Mm-hmm,
is doing. So that military post has been there for a number of years. It's not
mm-hmm.
new. It's not new, but
Uh,
they have something we want.
oh
And
yeah.
our vice president and his wife were sent. First, the son was sent, not welcome, and then the vice president's lady, not welcome for what she was planning to do. The media started talking about it, and the residents of the city thought it would be a bad idea. No
Mm-hmm.
one wants to be just taken over. No one wants to be, just because you have the power to do it doesn't mean you should do it.
But hey, minds like that,
Hmm.
they'll do anything
That's true.
just to try to prove that they might be the almighty, but it's not going to turn out
They have
like
the power to
they
do it.
believe it's going to turn out. Because
And
there are limitations, and we have a higher power than what they are, and they act like they don't realize that. But it's going to show up. All right, Dr. Mack. What is your Okay, number 3. Since becoming the president, have you noticed any indication of the hit list of persons and or organizations? Oh yes.
oh yes.
Oh yes. My goodness.
Well, he talks about the woke movement so very much, but then when you go back into history, remember the definition of history. These are occurrences in the past that we are to study and learn from so that we don't repeat them in the future. Well, we're in a cycle here where we are
Mm-hmm.
repeating things that were done. We you mentioned the free speech thing. This is
Mm-hmm.
this was a valid green card holder.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then we have another gentleman who is being held in Louisiana, uh, and this right to the freedom to speak, to say what you want.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, we're on and I think we should honor all of them. If you're going to let them in here, you're going to have to honor them
Right.
using the anti-Semitic um, protests and the anti-Semitic verbiage. Well, we've had to live with that, and before we did, let's go back. Japanese Americans were put in places like Manzanar, the concentration camps, and before that, and I
Mm-hmm.
think about it every time I watch a Western. We had a nice name for it. We called it a reservation. It's the same thing. You're putting them in there because you want to weaken their power, you know, so that you have all that. But I am one of those. Let's clean up all of it. Let's clean up all the immigration situation, and let's not keep repeating the past. Let's not keep repeating it because we are now. If you say something, here we've had what the NPR and the public broadcasting were in DC
Mm-hmm.
this time, and he wants to shut that down. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't like the way they report. He has called for the firing of several journalists, on-air personalities. You say things about me that I don't like. You consistently say things, so you need to be fired. I'm going to file a lawsuit against you. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
file against the network. I'm, it's just we have to, just stop and take a look at what's going on.
Yep. Because they're trying to, what you're saying is they're trying to take everything backwards, take the power. They're trying to stop people, especially of our hue, uh, 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 of our what descent, African descent, especially, and I go back to anything that has the words civil rights in it, or
Mm-hmm.
anything that they think is related to us, those things are pinpointed to do away with.
Absolutely. See,
And
we brought this word DEI,
mm-hmm,
diversity, inclusion, and equity. He hadn't his the time in the chair had been very limited before he even started that. But that was a campaign promise that he made,
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
guess what? He's carrying it out. Oh, by the
yep,
way, he wants he has mentioned that he wants those monuments that were taken down. He wants
mm-hmm,
them put back up there to be restored to the national parks, and there he wants to redo the layout of the Smithsonian Museum set. I've spent hours there, um, and I remember how happy my grandfather was when we walked into the set with the agricultural and industrial
mm-hmm,
things. My Papa automatically went to like the instruments they used for building the railroads, the instruments that we use for farming. And I mean, we
mm-hmm.
just stood there for hours as he taught us,
Oh,
you know.
wow.
But you know, it you're right. We want to take it down, and what we want to do is rewrite history. We want to rewrite history.
Right. And then you were talking about that history. Hello, Sister McDuffie and Sister Helena Hall. uh, they want to change everything. They want to, like you said, rewrite. They want to try to erase, and that already started because they're trying to,
Mhm.
like the books they're taking out, trying to take out of the libraries, out of the school libraries, out of the curriculum for learning, and all of that, trying to redefine words such as slavery and try to call that, what is it? Not indentured.
The indentured servant. I never will forget when the secretary said that there were no slaves, they were indentured servants, and I'm looking at him. That can't, on TV. I'm like, no
Mhm.
way, no how. They are not. They were not given a period of freedom. Indentured servants were going to work for a short time or a period of time, and they would be free. There was no
No.
period of time for us. If
Mhm.
they had
And
their way,
there's
we'd still be working.
and there still isn't a period of time. They're trying to go back, and then also you have to look at this guy that was standing up there while the other one was sitting at the desk while he was talking. What goes into the cabinet meetings? He's not a cabinet member. They gave him access to the, oh gosh, what's the military, our hub? What is it? Oh man,
Pentagon, the
yes, ma'am.
Pentagon.
Let him go there. He had no business in any of those places. But think of where he came from. And they say they have taken his citizenship away from him. South Africa. What does South Africa have?
They
Uh,
had apartheid for a
they
number
had
of
it.
years. They do no longer, that is why everybody loved um what they call the gentleman they call the savior of South Africa.
Hmm.
Um, but they still have their problems.
Oh, yes, because one of the main problems is femicide. That's killing women just to be killing them.
Hmm.
And they said that is one of the main problems there. So they haven't gotten better. They might have stopped using the word apartheid, but it's still bad over there. It's still bad over there. And so that people are trying to bring that over here and trying to uh, take the God given rights from us away. They want us to be, and that's why he said what he said about not even knowing what the acronym means about our representative who holds their feet to the fire, a low IQ. She's and he said a low something. He called her, something that, well, of course, we know she's not. But people like that, they want us to be inferior, even though we're not, never have been. That's why they did so much back there to kill and maim, because of the intelligence level. Even though people were in slavery, Many of the things that are going on today that help this country to survive and thrive as it is came from the people of our hue that they brought over here, that did the work, made the plans, and did all kinds of things. There's so much. Okay, but I'm talking about that person. And so he's trying to establish rules like they have over there. And they still exist over there in South Africa. They just took the word away and stopped using it, but it's still going on. And they're trying to bring that same practice back over here in full force because it is still a practice over here because we are not equal. We are not equal as human beings, different races of people. Okay, 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 Dr. Mack.
It's okay. It's
Uh,
okay.
all right. Okay, so what is it? Recently, oh, the water. These are great, Dr. Mack. There has been a push to acquire more water within the state of Texas. Which of the options that are being explored by the state legislature do you favor? So, which one do you favor?
Well, right now, I'm waiting to hear more about the House. Well, whether we should fix the infrastructure that we have now. You know what happens when it gets real hot, those old underground pipes start to burst and you have
Hmm.
waterworks in the streets. Uh, do we want to build new lakes? Because it takes a long time for something to become a lake. Or do we want to go around saying Mexico owes us all these gallons, millions of gallons of water, and they haven't done it? Well, we're the ones who are saying, oh, we want all this growth, we want this population to keep exploding, and we need all these new jobs and all of this. Well, I think I haven't made my decision as to what, but in reality, usually it's better when we do a combination of things. I know I heard the discussion on, well, several discussions on if we were to build these new lakes or new reservoirs of water. But you notice how far they're going out. They're going past, the colony and all the way out there. But we have to remember is you can't just put all those eggs in one basket. You sort of need to look at all of them. And I know you want all this new population, but at some point you need to stop and say, how are we going to water? How are we going to have water for these people? And I don't want to hear that you don't have sugar cane in the state of Texas because you don't have the water needed, so you can't have the sugar and you can't have the rice and okay, just think about what you're doing, and while you're down there in this 89th legislature, do something before you come home regarding the problem.
Right,
Don't just pitch it out there. Solve it.
right.
Solve it.
So, whether they repair what we
Right.
already have or build new lakes, and like you said, it's going to take some time because
Yeah.
once they dig the lakes, they're still going to have to wait until the water can settle without going down. It's so much. So, I'm with you, Dr. Mack. If a combination,
Yeah. Combination.
a combination, I am with you. I concur.
Oh no, that's Corey.
I
When
can't
we
get that out of my. I really like. What is it? I look NCIS. See, I
yeah.
like that. He said I concur. Okay. Oh, I like this one too, Dr. Mack. And would you lead with this one? Both Jasmine Crockett, Texas, and Maxine Waters, California, have been very vocal during this week. How did you react to their actions?
That's why I said earlier when we started, we both asked the same question. Well, again, I'm saying these people are quote unquote elected, and we're not going to go back and say who voted, who didn't, don't care. But they are speaking out now. They are African American women, and I know that they're not perfect. Please know
Hmm.
that, but I do think they deserve to be, to be heard, and I
Exactly.
also think they deserve to have some of their work acknowledged. But at the same time, remember they're not up there to become the future stars, of Congress. They're up there to do some good. I think you said the way you often put it, they're up there. No, it was Pastor Colleen, to remember who sent them up there and
Exactly.
why they're up there. Because you can get caught up in the limelight, things
Yes,
you never
ma'am.
thought you'd be saying, you're saying, and
Exactly.
they're not doing. But if it's not gonna help the people who sent you, just go on and do your work.
Do
You
your
know,
work.
don't
Right.
don't become a media person.
Right.
How do you feel?
I feel that they're doing what they were sent there to do, and they're always going to have opposition. But I believe that they're up there to help us and to do what's right for us. And Maxine Waters, is she still in there? Did she?
I think she's still there.
Okay. And then also, I want to say this. I saw, oh, well, no, I heard it on the radio that the first Republican female, is she the first Republican? Nia Love. I think they've had her funeral, I think this week, or
Oh
they're
wow.
planning it. Yeah, she's 49 years old.
Now
So,
that is awfully young, but that's a very stressful situation in DC if you go to work.
mm-hmm,
If you go to accomplish something.
mm-hmm,
Um, and there's committees, there's subcommittees, and then they're just the public things that you need to do. You need to
mm-hmm.
stay in contact with the people back home. You know,
Right. And Jasmine does that. Does that. She just
yes,
had a
yes,
call I missed. I think it was last week. I missed that call.
mm,
Sure did.
yeah.
She keeps us informed. And I was thinking, oh, is she like, is this what robot call one time? But no,
Yeah,
she's on there.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I
So
think stay in contact with those persons. What do you want? What do you have to say about Texas and the water? You should have an opinion and help us get it done.
right. Okay. Now, during the television with Craig Melvin, during a television
Interview.
show with Craig Melvin, Bishop T.D. Jakes thanked all of the believers who had prayed for his recovery. And he also mentioned that he had initiated defamation lawsuits against those who had made false accusations against him. Do you believe that defamation lawsuits will become a trend for the minister and clergy? Hmm. Do I don't know whether it'll become a trend because it's been going on for so long, defamation, and they've many times prayed about it and said we're going to let God work it out and
Yes.
things like that. Uh-huh. But sometimes you have to do some things. If you've been defamed, then hey, do something about it. Go to the law. But as far as becoming a trend, I don't know.
Well, I loved it when Melvin introduced it. After he allowed him to thank everyone, and then he mentioned Diddy, Bishop Jakes and Diddy, and immediately you could see the change in Bishop Jakes. You
Uh-huh.
know, because all of the allegations, the false allegations, now they've been around for a long time against him, as he said, against him, against his family, against his ministerial staff, and he says everybody's not, perfect, but he too thought about not doing anything. But then after his health battle, he thought, okay, you need to do something. And you have to look at him going back to sue the people who said horrible things about him, accused him of being in situations that he wasn't in, as opposed to those persons who were bringing down. I think they talked about male celebrities. You get all of these accusations. Some of them are not true. Well, they're not proven to be accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what it does is it still damages the character of the person who is being accused.
Right.
I
Right.
think there'll be more people. I don't, there won't be a plethora of people, but there will be a number of people who are going to start fighting back. There's not going to be this payoff hush money kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there are going to be some who are going to say, okay, we pay you off, but then what? 6 months later, somebody else comes up, so you're constantly, you know, having to pay off.
Mm-hmm.
But the laity can say whatever they want, but at some point they have to stand up.
Right. Yeah, they have to. And so if they have been defamed, then they should do something. And maybe he's saying because it weighed so much on him, because I saw one article that said that he said that he had a massive heart attack.
Yes, that's what he said actually in
Hmm.
India. I believe
Hmm.
it's the right side. It was, he was fine when he was preaching, but it occurred when he sat down. He realized how he was feeling. You know,
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
His
Yes.
doctor whispered to him before the operation, you know,
Hmm.
what was going on.
Okay. So if he has been defamed, go ahead and use the law to your favor. Yeah,
Hmm.
use the law. So I think he should do that. So what do you believe are the reasons that a few black church related schools beginning at pre-K to 3 through grade PK3 through grade 12? So would you explain that, please?
Okay. There was a time when there were, um, especially black colleges, and they were subsidized by black churches. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm trying to think. There was a school in Marshall. There's a school at Tyler. I believe the one at Tyler is United Methodist. You know, each of
Mhm.
the denominations had schools,
Mhm.
and that they were even when before the state, you know, public schools,
Mhm.
churches had schools that,
Mhm.
for black kids. That's where they went,
Mhm.
and the operation of the school, including the salary of the teachers, were paid. And
Mhm.
many of them were Jewish people who came down from the north,
Mhm.
to teach. So where are we there? You have charter schools, and some of them may or may not be related to particular church denominations.
Mhm.
But why? What do you think is the reason we don't have that kind of? You know, um, most denominations, a lot of denominations have schools, especially elementary and middle schools, and
Mhm.
then the kids going into high school. They really should pull them out before middle school because middle school is hard, very hard. Um,
Mhm.
but why don't you think we have more on a local level?
Why don't we have more?
Right.
Uh, things have changed so, and there are so many independent uh, churches, non-denominational,
Mm-hmm.
and that have come into being. And so there is no, like the churches, it was the Methodist, the Baptist, the Holiness, and the Church of God in Christ. What
Mm-hmm.
is it? The oh God, Seventh Day Adventist.
Advances,
Uh-huh. And what is the
Latter Day Saints.
yes, and the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
There were those denominations, or those what would you call it, organizations, those, I will say it like that, church or religious church organizations, and they were together. So them being together as one in whichever they were a part of, they could do that because they were together. But now it's so, everything is so scattered now.
Oh,
Everything is so scattered now, and so they're really not not much togetherness,
no.
because everybody wants to do, it seems, wants to do their own thing. And especially when so many non-denominationals have popped up, but there are some that are doing great work, and that
Mm-hmm.
they do have these schools and everything, and some are successful because maybe they did not join with some of the organized. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
so much so much could
Might
be
have been
go
better to leave them alone.
yes, so much can be happening, but I had not thought of that until I saw this. But I think many of them are doing a great job at education for the children. So and then some, hey, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
It
know.
bothers me, and I don't have an answer. So, if any of you who are with us today have some more to say, we would welcome that because I think sometimes we're losing the kids. There's no time to, you know, teach the history or even teach the history of the church. Not that I'm advocating that, but if we want the history to be continually taught, we're going to have to come up with a vehicle, a strategy, a framework to make sure that that occurs. You
That
know,
yes, and that's where they need to get together, and then even if the churches don't bond together, the different organizations or different names or denominations, if I want, call it that, if they don't band together, then the local church has a responsibility. One church can do wonders with the people they already have as congregants. They can initiate, if they haven't already, an educational program, a program for her story, his story, our story, because now that his story, that the beginning of it is like his story from a male perspective, but we all have stories to tell. And so it's not just his. And I keep stressing that because it's very important to me. But
me
it's
too.
up to the churches, the congregations, to initiate these programs to teach the stories that should be told about us as a people, whichever it is, whatever denomination it is, whatever ethnic group it is our responsibility to teach the story about our being. And so
Yeah,
we've depended on too many other people. And I know I'm
to
repeating from
tell us.
yeah, to tell our story, and then they add to it, take away from it, just like they're doing now, saying that there was no slavery and that you shouldn't say this kind of word, you shouldn't say that or whatever, all of that. So it is up to us. It's our responsibility, and we've lagged behind in that responsibility so long, but now it's time to get with it and establish these educational uh, what is it opportunities
Yes,
in the local congregations,
need
because
a vehicle. We
yes,
need a
ma'am. and
vehicle.
and so word of mouth, people, we have people who are brilliant, who can write curriculum, have already written curriculum, already
Yes.
have stories out there, and there's so much to be told. So we need to get with it and do it. Like, hey, we're doing here on the mothers board. Okay, okay, Dr. Beck, you have anything else to say about that? Are you looking
No,
to?
we would have to do a whole show on that because it is so important that, while you're celebrating St. Patrick's Day, why, why are you doing that? And you don't know there was a Pentecostal day that was celebrated by blacks in the North. So come on, there's so much to know. So
Oh
much to know.
yes. And that's one thing I can say about I the Church of God in Christ. When my friend Glenda Williams Goodson, she's well, here we go. She's a storyteller. She
Mhm.
keeps up with our stories. I'm trying to break myself from saying that historian, because she's a her historian telling the stories
Our
of
story.
our story, and she's telling about all much of it. She has so much information, so they keep those stories going. And
Right.
then I'm sure the other denominations probably are doing the same thing. Hopefully
And
they are, and if not, it's time to start.
well, one of the, and we're running out of time. That's fresh, letting you know it's time.
Yes, yes, because
One
Alexa
of
is telling me.
one of the other
Okay,
avenues that we can use, the family reunions will start soon. You know,
and yes,
and that's a perfect place to share his story, her story, and our story,
our
and
story.
remind the ones who are sitting there with the little bitty eyes looking up at you.
Yes,
You
and
have a story too.
that's what I try to relate to our family. all that I know, all that I can, and even I have done videos and with the story of the ones that are our forefathers and mothers in there. So
Mhm.
I'm doing whatever I can to keep our part of the family informed for years to come on what's going on. So Dr. Mack, would you like closing remarks?
Well, I would invite you. I thank you first of all for coming today and being patient as we go through. Uh, and I invite you back next week. But Wednesday, please join me on with Pastor Polk, and we're going to be in the book of where are we? In the book of hmm, we just finished Ephesians. We just
Okay.
finished Philippians. We're in the book of Philippians, and we'll
Okay.
talk about the two sisters who were ordering, and we're going to learn not to do that.
Okay, so that's from the Biblical Files of Dr. Mack
Dr. May,
at
thank you.
1 p.m. on Wednesdays. And on tomorrow evening, God willing, at 7:39 p.m. will be Greater Gospel Temple and Church of Praise and Worship and Inspiration of God Ministries Saturday evening Bible lesson session at 7:39 p.m. And then on Sunday morning, God willing, at 7 a.m. is Greater Gospel Temple Church of Praise and Worship and Inspiration of God Ministries Sunday morning manna from heaven. So, God willing, we will see you then. And on Thursday, possibly this coming Thursday, I will have as a guest my optometrist. He's going to come on and talk about his story and then give us some information that we need to know about our eyes and different things like that. So I'm excited about that. So anyway, with no further ado, we thank you so much for being here, and we're praying for and with each and every one of you, or whatever your situation is, and we declare love. What I think I have it scrolling here. Uh, live, love, survive, and thrive.
And right.
2025 and forever. We love you so much. Love you, Dr. Mack, and we'll talk later.
Bye bye.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Apostle Eula Washington joined us also.
Thank you.
Yes, so let me get here so I can get our outro here. Want to make sure I get this. Okay.
Just because you hear the sirens, that doesn't mean